Hi guys, happy Friday. Um, Thank you for logging in. I thought I'd come here and just have a little chit chat, but more like just share my opinion, share my story. Um, before we get into that, I'd like to share the verse of the day, which is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. That's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. It's such a great promise from the Lord. I thank you guys for tuning in. I really thought about this. It has actually been on my heart. It feels it really is a conviction, I believe. I believe it's a conviction. Just to be able to come and encourage someone out there. The Lord has put it on my heart. It makes me happy to see that I have the courage and the boldness and the strength to come up here and you know have the conversation, start the conversation. Uh, I wanted to touch on just two main areas. One being self-isolation, and the other one being self-reflection. Those two. I'll start with self-isolation. I personally have experienced self-isolation. I've been in that area or period of self-isolation for I think I could say maybe close to a year. Um, the Lord allowed for me. He allowed for me to be in that space as well. Because sometimes the Lord allows for us to be in self-isolation so that because in that moment is when he also does his greatest work in us. It's when we get closer. Okay, from my experience, it's when I really got closer to God, and it's when I was really praying and seeking him and day and night. And I just feel like my relationship with him was had I had grown fonder, and you know it was amazing, but also you know I really did struggle. And I want to talk about self-isolation because I know there are so many people that are in that space. Um, Something that self-isolation does is really it you feel like you're happy, you feel like you're okay, you feel like you're not being judged, you feel like you're not being watched, and so you feel like there's a certain peace that comes with it. Uh, as you continue to engage in those habits, those terrible habits, um, that each of us has our own things. Unfortunately, I'd like to tell you that that's breeding ground, and the enemy knows that, and you have to fight. Um, you have to fight this thing called self-isolation. We are created. God created us for community, for communion. You know, we need to be able to be around people. We need to be able to engage with people, but people of value, people that know the Lord, people that will push us on the right or put us in the right direction. you know and I know it's not easy to find that space because trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy without feeling judged, you know especially that it all comes with judgment because truthfully you cannot be able to do the things that yes, those most of those struggles, most of those habits, you're not able to do them with just anyone, and you kind of pick your spaces or your crowd. Sometimes some of them just get you and understand you. And so um, The most comfortable place, I'd say, in moments like that is just when you're by yourself. And so for me personally, um, I used to be suffocated like around people. I don't want like I like I'm coming clean about it, and I want really be um really be honest and have this honest conversation. I used to feel suffocated. I was always rushing to get home. I was always rushing to get home, to get to my safe space, so that I could continue to do, you know, to do those things that I was just into that were not healthy, you know, but just being safe, just feeling secure, you know, in my bad habits. So I know that it's a struggle, and I know that there are so many people that are going through that kind of period in their life. I'd say that don't give up on prayer. Whatever you do, don't give up on prayer. Don't give up on prayer. Don't give up on seeking God. It's the only way out of self-isolation. It's the only way out of your challenges. And don't have a willing spirit. There's nothing as important as having a willing spirit. It's just actually that's all you need. You need to have a willing spirit. First, you need to accept that you have this challenge and you're battling with this habit and you're battling with this struggle, whatever it may be, you know. It could be addictions, it could be, you know, fornication. It could be anything, guys. We all know the things that God does that are not aligned with God and what he expects of us as his children. So you need to accept, first accept it. Say, no, God, this is what I'm really going through. This is my struggle. This is my challenge. This is my habit. I don't like it. I know this is not of you. I know this doesn't make you happy that I do this. And I need you to come into my life. I need you to change me. I need you to search me. I need you to give me the strength. I need you to surround me with the right kind of support that I need. And trust me, guys, nothing like support. You really need the support. You need the support. You need to be it. Because I honestly feel like, although it has to be from God, because you can always have support. We've all had support. We've all had friends. Yes, but they may not be able to give you that support that you need to tap out of that thing, you know? So, um, you need to pray about it. You need to ask God to lead you to the right spaces, to the right people. I'll tell you, for one, myself, during that time of self-isolation, and of course engaging in these habits, which I'll be able to speak more about. Um, I I used to go to a salon in a neighborhood, and I met one of she became my friend. She's a pastor. She's called Christine. She had a salon. So she used to braid my hair. So she used to encourage me. And then she asked me one day, where do you go? Where do you go for prayers? And honestly, at that point, I wasn't even like really going to church. And she told me, you know what, she invited me to her church at Mercy House on Gaza, or it was on Gaza, it was close to home. She invited me to her church. I decided to give it a go. I went. She introduced me to her friends at church. Introduced me to the pastor, to the apostle, I'll say, Apostle Gilbert Birunji. And really, it was such a great group. It was such a good group of people. It was peaceful. It felt peaceful. It helped me. I wasn't able to really open up like with any of my friends at church or even just my pastor, but it it did something for me within myself. And trust me, God did use the vessel. God did use the vessel, Pastor Bironji Gilbert, Like every time I'd go to church and I hear his sermons, and I'd feel renewed, I'd feel renewed. Although I'd go back and still engage in these other habits, but it kept encouraging me to unpack. It kept encouraging me to unpack, and it kept encouraging me to seek God. It kept encouraging me to trust God. It kept encouraging me to go to church. You know, I started to feel like, okay, this is not my only safe place. Like when I'm alone, like also when I go to church, I feel safe. I feel renewed. I feel like God is there. I feel like I'm literally in His presence. So I it was a real a big change in my life. It impacted me greatly, such a positive way, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the team at Mercy House. Forever be grateful. Unfortunately, I don't go to Mercy House at the moment, but it's because, of course, so many things. I moved from where I was staying. I shifted spaces and stuff, but generally it was such a great team, and they were just so compassionate and kind and welcoming and understanding, and it was a great space for for my growth. um and then I just kept praying to God. I kept asking Him. I kept telling Him, I don't want to be lonely. I want you to bring me someone. I want you to, you know, help me get out of this mess. Help me get out of this mess. Don't shy away from God. First of all, He already knows what it is that you're struggling with. God knows each and every single one of us. He knows our struggles. He knows our habits. He knows our vices. He knows each and everything that we deal with and battle with. And so you can't really say that you're hiding from God. You can't hide from God. So bring it to Him. Surrender yourself to Him. Tell Him, I'm going through this thing, God. I don't want to be this person. This is not who you've created me to be. This is not who you've created me to be. I had so many distractions. I had work, but I was always rushing to go back to that space that felt safe. I know someone out there knows what I mean. And then, um, with time, God just answered my prayers. I started to meet, this support system, and they were so good to me, and they were so kind to me, and at first, I'll tell you, it felt like judgment. That's the fact. That was the first step. Like, I felt like I was constantly being judged. I was constantly being judged. I was constantly being judged. I used to be bitter. I used to be angry. I even used to cry about it. But then as we continue to have these conversations, they help me to understand deeply what it meant to self-reflect. And that's where self-reflection comes in. It's not really to go back to your past to start to feel like, I know what that sometimes brings, the emotions that come with that is that you start to feel guilty, you start to feel dirty, you start to feel terrible, you start to feel shame, but it's very important for our growth for us to self-reflect. And self-reflection is not just for your past. Self-reflection is a continual process of growth, you know, as individuals, as a group, as a couple, you know, as prayer partners. It's good for us to reflect not just self, but even group as a group, whatever it is. We need to learn how to self-reflect, how to unpack, how to, you ask yourself, you have these conversations with yourself and ask yourself, truly, this is what I have been doing, ABCD. Does how is this helping me? How is this helping my progress? Okay, I want to be here. This is where I am. I want to be here. The things that I have done in the past, what have I reaped from? What have I reaped from them? What can I see today? That I can rejoice over. That I can say, oh yeah, great. This is great because of all my all the things I have done, all my effort in this and this area. This is what I have been able to reap. This is what I have been able to gain. We need to be able to do these things because it helps us be better for ourselves, be better for those around us. Um, and in general, just live a healthy lifestyle. I thank God that I was really, 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 really taken through self-reflection. Yes. Taken through self-reflection. I fully understood what it meant. And now I still struggle, but I still try to do it as much as I can. I sit down with myself and I'll be like, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. This is the kind of person I see myself being. This is the kind of person that, God, I feel like God is calling me to be this person. Yeah. But currently, what am I doing? Currently, what is it that I'm doing? How am I getting there? How am I getting there? Is what I'm doing leading me to that space? So it's very good to ask yourself these questions, have these conversations with yourself. It's valid, it's very valid, it's very important, it's very necessary for growth. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid to unpack. It's scary. It's not an easy space, especially if you're doing, like, if you, like, for the moment that I had, like, speaking on my experience, having to go back, you know years back, and look at the things that I had done, that I had allowed myself to engage in, and just, realizing that it is just not healthy. It's not healthy. They were not good things, or not things that today, me today, that I'm proud of. But it's all one step at a time. I want to pray for everyone out there, and just to be that voice for people out there that might be dealing and going through something and are just afraid to speak, afraid to connect. This is a safe space. Um, and let's extend grace to each other, guys. Let's not be mean and bitter and judgmental. People are going through their own, and everyone, it's a process. It's a process. Everyone has their own time of conviction. Everyone has their own time. you know let's all just extend grace to one another, be kind to one another. Be that person that listens, be that person that's a great encouragement, be that person that is not just judgmental, but really helpful in someone else's is growth. It's a very important thing, and I feel like it's a great calling. I think it's a calling for each and every one of us, to be that person. So, I thank you guys for watching till the end. I know that as I continue to engage and have these kind of conversations, I'll be able to open up even deeply and unpack with you, and just show you that you're not alone out there, that you're really not alone, that we're all battling, that we've all gone through some of these things, that some of them are familiar. You'll start to hear that some of them are familiar. And I pray that God gives me the strength, that His Holy Spirit will speak on my behalf, that I'll be able to, to speak on these things, because it's important that we talk about these things. And I thank God for the platform and allowing me to be able to do this sit down. I wish you guys the best. I want the very best for each and every one of you guys. And my friends out there, I love you all. I wish you the best. And yeah, God bless you. Have a blessed afternoon.